Hello, 8th graders. This is Mrs. Thompson again, and we're actually going to move to example 3. I'm on the very first page of your notes to emphasize to you that example 3 is where we're going to use the X and Y intercepts to graph lines. So that's where we're going to go right now. So if you'll flip your page back to example 3, we'll get started. All right, example 3 is about graphing linear equations using their intercepts. We learned in example 1 how to find intercepts from an equation. We're going to do that again. So let's look at letter A. As you can see, 2x minus 4y equals 8 is in standard form. This is the perfect form to find the intercepts. And as you can remember, standard form is ax plus by equals c. And so I'm emphasizing that. I'm going to say that over and over and over again like a broken record until we get it memorized and it's innate inside of each of us. Okay, what we're going to do is a strategy called the cover-up method. We're going to cover up one of the values and we're going to find the other one. If you don't remember this, go back and look at example 1, letter B, and I explained that to you in that part of our video series. Okay, well let's start. I'm going to rewrite the equation, and we're going to start by let's find the x-intercept. So I'm looking for x. That means I want to cover up the y. So that leaves me with the equation 2x equals 8. And then all I have to do from here is divide each side by 2. And I now know that my x-intercept is 4. So my line is going to cross the x-axis at positive 4. All right, let's do it again. Rewrite 2x minus 4y equals 8. And we're going to this time find the y-intercept. So I'm going to use my cover-up method, and I'm going to cover up the x, because I'm looking for the y. And this is the equation I see, is negative 4y equals 8. So I'm going to divide each side by negative 4. And now I know that my y-intercept is going to crisscross at negative 2. Now you're ready to graph a line. So let's prepare it. If you can't see your graph paper on your notes, go grab some graph paper right now. If you can see your graph paper, let's prepare a coordinate plane. All right, so here we go. Looking good. So let's start with the x-intercept. Let's find positive 4 on the x-axis. So here we are at the origin, and so we're going to go over to positive 4. Here's 1, 2, 3, there's 4. And make yourself a nice, dark, heavy dot right on positive 4. Now let's go to the y-axis and let's find negative 2. So here I am back at the origin, and I'm going to go down to negative 2, and I'm going to mark it. And those are, you only need 2 points to form a line, so there's my 2 points. And I am going to draw my line through those 2 points. And there you go. That is the drawing of the graph for 2x minus 4y equals 8. Now, if you have any questions about that, rewind this video and watch it again. Let's move on to letter B. Letter B is not in standard form, but I want to show you how you can turn any equation into standard form. Now, I'm going to take just a second. You don't erase. I'm going to erase so I can have a little bit of space on my paper so I have some area to work, okay? So thank you so much for your patience. I really appreciate that. You don't erase because I need you to stay with your notes and be able to review those. Okay, let's take a look. Our equation says 2/3 y equals 4 minus 1/2 x. We have a couple of problems here. One issue is we have fractions, and you guys know how I feel about fractions. If I don't have to work with fractions, I won't. So we're going to deal with the fraction issue. The other issue is this equation is not in standard form. So let's tackle each one. Let's put it in standard form first of all, And remember, standard form, we want x and y on the same side. So I'm going to go ahead and move the 1/2 x, I'm going to move that term over to the other side by means of addition. So they're going to cancel out here on the right. That's exactly what I wanted it to do. And now here on the left, I've got 1/2 x plus 2/3 y is equal to 4. That looks great. So we're almost in standard form. A, B, and C tend to be whole numbers or integers, and we have fractions, so we need to fix that situation. So let's take a look. I'm going to do one of my shortcuts. You have not seen this in several weeks, so it may seem new to you, and hopefully it'll refresh your memory. Now, if I wanted a common denominator, what would I choose? Now let's look at our denominators. I have a denominator of 2, 3, and an understood 1. So what would be the best common denominator for those three denominators? If you are thinking 6, you're absolutely correct. So great job if you're thinking 6. Okay, so let's change or turn 1/2 into a fraction with the denominator of 6. So remember, 2 times 3 is 6. So 3 times 1 is 3. So there's my first one. Instead of 1/2 x, I'm going to rename it 3/6x. Okay? Let's change 2/3. Multiply top and bottom by 2 this time, and I'll have 4/6y. And then the last one, multiply 1 by 6 and multiply the 4 by 6, and I'll get 24/6. Okay? Now here's the shortcut. If they all have the same denominator, you can essentially just mark them out, and this is your equation that you're looking at. Boy, that looks a lot easier than what we started off with at the beginning, which was 2/3 y equals 4 minus 1/2 x. 3x plus 4y equals 24 looks 10 times easier to me. Visually, it does. So let's take a look. We're going to do the cover-up method. So I'm going to write off to the side, rewrite my equation, and I'm going to look for the x-intercept. So if I'm looking for the x, I'm going to cover up the y. So what I have here is 3x equals 24, and I'm going to divide each side by 3. And so this time, my x-intercept is going to lie on positive 8. All right, that's going to be easy to graph, no problem there. So let's rewrite our equation again. This time, I want to know what the y-intercept is, so I'm going to cover up the x. Now I have the equation 4y equals 24. Divide each side by 4, and my y-intercept is at positive 6. Okay, that's all I need to know in order to graph this type of equation. So let me I've got to do a little bit of planning here. Let's see here. I might have started just a little bit too high, and that's okay. I'm going to erase it and maybe go a little bit lower on my graph here. There we go. And I'm going to start, because it's positive 8 on the x, I'm going to make my coordinate plane look like this. I'm going to just kind of move that y-axis as far over to the left as I can, because I do need positive 8 on the x. Okay, so we're going to start here at the origin. Let's graph our x-intercept, and we're going to count out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and I'm going to mark it. Now I went by 1s. You could have gone by 2s. Increments of 2s, if that would have worked for you. Okay, if that's a better idea for you, that's fine. Just clearly show that you're going by 2s. Show 2, 4, 6, 8 on your graph, okay? All right, let's go to the y-intercept, and let's start back at the origin, and we're going to count up to positive 6. So here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and here's 6. And we're ready to graph those 2 points. Draw a line right through them, and there's your line that represents the equation 2/3 y equals 4 minus 1/2 x. So sometimes they're not going to give you an equation in standard form, and you may have to do some rearranging like you did here, and then you can do the cover-up method and solve. And so hopefully you're getting more and more familiar and comfortable with the cover-up method, because I think that's a wonderful way to graph an equation out of standard form. Okay, we're going to stop right here for example 3, and back in your note packet, if you will go to this page on your note packet and try those on your own and see how you do. Thanks for listening.